Hello and welcome to I Am Not Your Tour Guide, but I am your host, Starla Skelton. And of course, just like every time I'm on here, I'm super pumped, I'm super excited about our guest today. I'm going to introduce you to our fabulous, powerful guest who is just a rock star of a female. She is an outdoor enthusiast. That's how I told her I was going to describe her. She loves to run. She loves to hike. She loves to bike. She's an adventurer, and she just got done pretty recently doing a trail 50K. So she is not afraid to get outside and just get dirty and enjoy everything that nature has to offer. So we're going to welcome Paxton.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I know your life is crazy busy. So thank you for just taking this time to indulge me with your outdoor knowledge.
Absolutely. These are my favorite kind of stories.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. And you are, just for our listeners, you're in Seattle.
Yep.
That's how we know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time we met? Is that a memory of yours?
That's a great question. We luckily crossed paths. You were like a bright light that walked into this heavy, dark, overwhelming restaurant that we both worked at. And I was like, I think she's going to change my life. You were just a ball of energy. You changed the entire environment of that place. And I ended up delaying how long it took me to finally quit that job because of you.
That's probably the nicest thing anybody's ever said.
It's so true. It's so true. I should tell you that more.
Thank you. That actually makes my face a little warm, honestly. But thank you. That was so kind. And you know what? Even though I did not love the place that you're talking about, I loved a lot of the people. And you included in that. You were the reason I stuck around as long as I did. That's for sure. Okay. So to talk a little bit of excitement, a little bit of travel, I want to just kind of set up that today you were talking to us about the Enchantments.
Oh, yes.
And there are probably some listeners out there, myself being included 2 years ago, that are scratching their heads because they haven't heard of the Enchantments. It's just not, whenever you're playing a national park game or you're Googling stuff, it's not one of the first ones that kind of come up in your Google search.
Yeah.
So if you could just give us a little geography lesson on where we can find the Enchantments and like, why would somebody want to add this to their list?
Totally. The Enchantments is an easy bucket list add. It's, in my opinion, one of the most gorgeous places in the world. Washington's a beautiful state. I grew up like an hour and a half outside of Seattle. So being in the city here is new to me, but we have so much access to being outdoors and like so many different kinds of landscapes. The Enchantments is this grand hike over in like north central Washington, a few hours outside of Seattle. It's really close to a town called Leavenworth, which is this cute little Bavarian mountain town. Some people like stay there and go skiing.
I visited there for the first time this past Christmas, and that was a beautiful time to visit with all the lights. And
it's all lit up. It's covered in snow. It's picturesque. And just outside of that town is this incredible hike. So it's part of like the Alpine Lakes Wilderness, and it's a point-to-point hike that gets you way up into the mountains and through countless lakes, a bunch of river crossings. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been.
Is there quite a bit of wildlife that you were able to see when you were out there?
Yeah. The most mountain goats I've ever seen. So that's something that I don't know is entirely unique to Washington, but there's definitely some pockets of like different hikes you can do that are just covered in mountain goats, and this is totally one of them. They were like trying to take our lunch. They'll like sniff around to wherever you just peed. Like you can't shake them off. And we kind of timed it well last summer when my friends and I did it, where it seemed like it was baby season. And they're starting to shed their big coats. So a lot of mountain goats. We bring our bear spray, but I don't hear of too many sightings up there. Another thing to be to be keeping top of mind when hiking in Washington too is like cougars and mountain lions. So you're deep out there, you can see a ton of things, but mountain goats is the biggest, most prominent wildlife to see out there.
Oh, so you saw baby goats?
Yes, they're precious.
Oh my gosh.
They've got
Oh,
their
that's
little
so
bleat.
awesome.
Bleh.
That was a great impression.
It's an audio experience for the listeners.
Okay, so kind of like on like to take a quick step back,
Yeah.
I was a little surprised when I moved to Washington almost 2 years ago that so many hikes are season dependent.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Georgia, and just because of location, you can kind of hike anywhere, any time of year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there might be some slippery, might be a little ice a couple days a year, but in Washington, they will shut down a trailhead for like 9 months of the
Oh,
year,
yeah.
and then some of them you're like, oh, wait, you have to get a permit
Mm-hmm.
to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very unlike some of the other places I've visited.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do you have any advice for us on like best time of year to do this hike in general, and then hiking in Washington? Do you have any advice on that?
Totally, totally. I feel like Washington feels pretty unique because a lot of people live at sea level. So starting in Seattle, you don't have to travel very far to get up to really high elevation where there's likely a lot of snow like a lot of months of the year. And the Enchantment is no exception. It's definitely got a lot of added layers of logistics, I would say. It's not a hike you can just plan to do impulsively. It's like 18 to 23 miles through deep wilderness with over 6,000 feet of elevation. So it's no joke is the first thing I would start out in saying, and you have to plan a lot. So we just came up on the year anniversary of when we did the Enchantments. We did it last year, first weekend of July, and there was still a ton of snow. And we were like getting sunburnt out in the direct sun all day, like trudging through the snow. So it's kind of like it takes a long time at that elevation for all that snowpack to melt down. So late July through August is like the peak time to go. And then a lot of people end up going back in September because it's like the larches season, which is like that tree that changes colors out in the backcountry. So September is a popular time to hike a lot of places in Washington, but if you do the Enchantments at that time, it's like it's lit up with extra colors from these trees too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then do you have to have a permit of any kind?
That's the other big thing about the Enchantments. Yeah. So the biggest thing is that if you want to stay overnight in the Enchantments, you need to get an overnight permit. And because they're really high in demand, they do a lottery system from like February to March. You apply, you say, these are the dates I would want to stay over and do this hike. And then you're kind of like chosen through a lottery system. So it's highly coveted to get an overnight permit for the Enchantments, but you can go and do the whole thing in a day by just filling out a free day permit.
Okay.
So those are like the two ways to do it. You either show up early, commit to doing the entire thing in one day, fill out your backcountry permit for free, or you test your luck for a couple of years in the lottery system, and if you make it, you bring everybody you can and make the most of it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do the permits cost money?
I believe they do. I think it's a low price actually for the overnight permits.
Okay.
I want to say like less than $10, but someone would totally need to fact check me on that.
Right.
There's a ton of information through Washington Trails Association and all that on the permit system, but it's not a high monetary barrier to entry for that.
And then when you were out there doing this in a day, did you pass people that were spending the night?
We did. Yeah. So on our way up, we were passing people that were coming back down. They had stayed like 2 or 3 nights. And while we were out walking through like the main core mountain range, we saw a tent pitched in like the most picturesque spot. My understanding is that they don't have established camping sites in every zone. So it's kind of like just like backcountry camping setup.
What you just said about they were staying 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to how many nights you can stay?
There is a limit, and the day that you get allotted your permit is like the day that you need enter that zone. I don't remember what the day limit is,
Okay.
but it's not just like a single night. So a lot of people will make a few days out of it if they get the overnight permit.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, take advantage of it, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Like you won the lottery system to
Yeah.
get it,
Yeah.
so take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So, I would like to transition into your experience
Yeah.
on this hike, and I'm very curious, how did you plan and prepare for it?
Great question. So this has totally been on my bucket list. As a Washingtonian, it's like it's something you always hear about, like so and so did the enchantments. And I was like, oh, that would be really cool to do one day. And I was really lucky to get an invitation from my best friend's coworkers, group of coworkers. So they're all physical therapists, they're active people, they're
Yeah.
safe, they're experienced in the outdoors. And I was like, this seems like the perfect group of people to go with.
Mm.
One of the couples had done the day hike of the enchantments like 5 or 6 times together, so I felt really comfortable. Um, Usually I'm
Cool.
I'm used to being like a little more experienced in a group of people I go hiking with, but this
Mhm.
was a great experience to kind of tag along with a group of people that already knew what they were doing. I could learn stuff from.
Mhm.
I mean, I still needed to be like hyper vigilant of my own preparedness, but being
Yeah.
with this group felt super safe.
Uh-huh.
So
Was it intimidating at all?
totally. Yes. I hadn't really trained up for it, even though I've got kind of like base strength of like a running hiking background. This was like double what I was like comfortable doing in a day. So I really needed to get ready. I was definitely intimidated. And then there was all the logistics we needed to work through. So
Mhm.
when were we gonna do it? Where were we gonna stay before and after? Because driving a few hours to start early and then ending late. We wanted to sleep in a real bed before and after, so we got a hotel in Leavenworth.
Nice.
We got up super early. We wanted to hit the trail by 5:30 a.m. And one thing I need to touch on is the parking logistics because it's a point-to-point trail. It's not
Mhm.
like you're starting and ending in the same parking lot. And we had a group of
Right.
8 of us, so we needed to drop one car off at the end of the trail
Okay.
and then get into the other person's car and take those 2 cars to the start of the trail. So we had 3 cars total. One of
Oh,
them was
wow.
going to be waiting at the end for us all day long.
Mhm.
And then the two we took to the start.
So it is not a loop, it is a point to point,
Yeah.
and then when you're driving from point to point, about how long is that drive?
I don't remember what it is in mileage. I know sometimes people do complete that whole route and like will walk it on the road, but it was like a 25-minute drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's worth driving back
Ab
and not walking.
I would say totally. Yeah, yeah. And I know that there's an option for a shuttle that runs, I want to say like on the hour all week, but it's something you need to pay for, reserve ahead of time. They stop running at a certain point, so you're kind of like limited to make sure you make it back in order to catch the shuttle to get to your car. So there's a lot of logistics in that, but we were fortunate enough to have those 3 cars and make that
Good.
that chaotic morning work.
I'm sure it's a lot more flexible, right?
Totally.
Having yeah.
Our own, yeah. Yeah. Even starting at 5:30 in the morning though, we were like the last 2 cars in that parking lot in the morning to start. Like people just start filling up the road.
And if you're not from Washington at 5:30 in the morning in July, it is plenty bright outside.
That's true. That's true.
And it's bright until about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yeah. We were testing the limits of that though. It took us 15 hours that day, and the last hour and a half was dark.
So 15 hours from point to point.
Yeah. Yeah. Including a lot of swimming breaks. So we were taking it pretty lax up top.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We had to take
Okay.
a couple alpine dips.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So did you all travel as a group, all 8 of you together, or did you kind of go at your own pace?
We all traveled together. We stopped and had lunch all together. There was one time at the end where we split up because one person in our group needed to take the last few miles really slow. It was a long, long, hard day. I don't blame them at all, but we didn't want to leave anybody behind, so we decided to split in half. The boys went ahead, kind of took off a little faster and got the car at the
Mhm.
finish, and then drove to the start and brought the 2 cars at the start of the trail back by the time we ended up. at the end there were all three cars. So that's
Perfect.
that funny little split at the end actually kind of worked out great, but it wasn't a part of our plan at all. So we kind of had to pivot, make a decision as a group, make sure we knew where everybody was going to be, because you
Mm-hmm.
also don't have cell service out there. So a lot of
Yeah,
planning.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And was there ever a moment where you're just like, I need, I don't know if I'm gonna make this, or
Oh,
you just had it in your head that like you're gonna make it?
that's a great question. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm like, oh, I always knew I could do it, but I remember thinking that day, and I checked in with some of my friends. I mean, like preparing for this, I was like, "What do you remember?" And everybody was like, "That is the hardest thing I've ever done." I mean, and
Mm,
I did a 50K last month. I think the Enchantments is one of the hardest things I've ever done.
mm. So somebody needs to prepare.
Totally.
You don't need to just, you have to be able to walk more than a mile if you're
Yeah.
gonna do this
Yeah,
hike,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. And just be prepared to challenge yourself. Like
Mm,
that was part of the fun, and this group was ready for that. But yeah, it's tough. We knew we were gonna make it. We were really prepared. But I think what made me nervous a couple times out on the trail was recognizing in certain groups their unpreparedness. Like beyond, I mean, like a fitness level, I think everyone can find themselves capable of doing something really hard like that. But passing people, making sure they had like, hey, are you guys good on water? Or like, oh, did you run out of food? Like looking out for people on the trail became a big thing too, because you can't find yourself in the middle of that being unprepared.
and I don't know this, but I'm assuming yes, the elevation, it's not so remote that there wouldn't be able to send in like an emergency helicopter, or is that a possibility if
Great.
somebody
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, great question. I actually,
Yeah.
so I'm a part of like a few like Seattle hiking like Facebook groups.
Uh-huh.
There's some great stories in there, cool pictures, recommendations and stuff, but I also see stories of like backcountry rescues. So
Yeah.
that like those kind of stories aren't uncommon on this trail especially, but a lot of times it can be avoidable by like being a part of a prepared group and knowing what you're getting yourself into. Yeah.
So this stuck out in my head a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
Whenever you're just like, having a moment on the trail and you know that maybe you still have another 10 miles to go,
Yeah.
is there something like in your head that you either say to yourself, listen to, maybe a song or anything that's like
Mm.
your motivation to keep going? Or like, where does your head go whenever you're just like, I got to buckle down and do this?
That's a great question because I think, like, I mean, I have a history of being a long distance runner, so I kind of understand that, like, that endurance grit. It's not an uncommon place to find yourself where you kind of need to dig a little bit more. But in the last few years out of college, I've enjoyed running on the trail so much more than I have on the road. I think because it's like a reminder of gratitude for me,
Mm,
like being surrounded in a place like that makes you feel really a part of it. And so I think when I find myself in a place where you kind of need to dig a little bit deeper, if I can switch my mindset to gratitude for being where I'm at and gratitude for my body, like
mhm,
pushing through stuff like
mhm.
that, like that goes a really, really long way.
Oh, that's so good. Like, that's such a it's such a good thing to self-reflect on
Yeah,
sometimes. I feel like what did you do during that moment that like really helped you get through it? And man, gratitude, that's such a for me, that's a pretty powerful thing to think about.
yeah,
Just, you can get so caught up in the day-to-day life, but really, at the end of the day, you were out there in the
yeah.
enchantments and they were mountain goats and you were with your friends and you're
Right?
surrounded by this beauty and
Yeah,
like, oh, what a thing to be grateful for.
totally.
That's so good. And then on the hike, was there a spot that just like blew your socks off visually?
Yes. Yeah. I should double check the mileage, but it's like just under halfway into the hike. So you get to Colchuck Lake is kind of the first landmark, really, which you can do as a hike on its own, and I would highly recommend it. That scene itself is incredible. That's kind of like if you look up the enchantments, that's probably one of the first pictures you'll see. That Colchuck Lake view. And that was the first place we took a little swimming dip. It was gorgeous. Like that's where the Instagram pictures were. And then you look beyond the lake, you look up from there, and that's Aasgard Pass is the name of that next section of trail. and
Hmm.
you see how high it goes and you're like, oh, there's no way that's where we're going. Like that's way too high. And then you squint your eyes, you see these tiny little people, and you're like, oh, that's where we're going next, isn't it? So it's kind of like it's a bittersweet view because you're like, oh, like this, we're making it, like we're gonna do it, and then you realize what you need to do next, and it's grueling. But
Yeah.
I would say the view at Colchuck Lake once you get there is second only to making it up Aasgard Pass and being in the core. The trail really kind of flattens out from there, and you take a long time to come back down all that elevation. But you're so high up and you're so encased by this mountain range. It's really unlike any other hike I've done, just because you're so deep in it,
Mm.
and the lakes are like bright blue when they're not covered in snow, and
Ugh,
it's pretty unreal. Yeah, it's
that's
worth it.
amazing. Do you know if this is a hike that can be done in the winter?
That's a great question. So anybody who's listening to this, I would recommend against it. I think because of Asgard Pass alone and the steep like loose rock with a river running through it, or yeah,
Hmm.
the creek running through it, I would be really surprised if someone does the whole trail in the winter. I bet
Hmm.
there's like mountaineering trips and stuff
Right.
that would tackle it that way, but it's definitely a summer trail. That's why it gets
Okay.
so packed, so dense then, because there's only a short window of time when you can really do it.
Got you. And because you need the permits and there's a lottery system, is the trail overcrowded?
I would say it has the tendency to be. That was part of our reasoning for getting started really early, kind of wanting to beat some of the crowds there. But once you get up past Colchuck Lake, which a lot of people will just do as a day hike, sometimes you have a couple hours stretch where you don't bump into someone. So I would just say it kind of depends on the busyness of the weekend and then how far you really get into the trail.
If you were going to do a day hike at Colchuck Lake,
Yeah.
where would you park? In which parking lot?
You would park at the start
Okay.
because you start at Colchuck Lake and then when you end, that parking lot is for Snow Lakes, which is also a hike you could do in a day, but I'd argue the views aren't as rewarding.
All right.
Yeah,
And on this hike,
yeah.
every hike you go on, you have great times, you have things that don't happen as planned, but those end up usually being the best story, right? But is there something that you learned on this hike that you would do differently next time that you
Mm,
attempt it?
I would definitely say that I would train a little bit more if I went and did it again. I would want to just practice my as my college coach used to say, time on feet. So not necessarily like a certain mileage in a day or something, but just getting used to being on your feet on a hike for a long time. Because
Hmm.
that was one of the things that kind of felt like the biggest shock to my body was just how long the day was, not even
Hmm.
necessarily the mileage. So I would just want to be prepared for it a little more and like feel really capable all day. And I would say this isn't necessarily a mistake we made at all, but just something I would want to make sure I did if I went to go hike it again, packing all the right stuff. I
Mm.
had a good bag. I was able to fill it with everything I needed, but it was so important for us to have really key items that I almost would have just left at home. Like I'm like a headlamp,
Oh,
like I don't know why would I need a headlamp on a hike? I absolutely needed that the last hour and a half.
yeah.
Or like a water filter. Like I've always
Mm.
sometimes I've had it as like a backup and I was like I probably should bring it, like we're gonna have water sources up there. I I filled up my water bladder like at least 3 times the entire day. We needed to take stops just to fill back up everybody's water because you're out there in the heat. The snow reflecting the sun makes it hotter. You're working
Oh.
so hard.
Hmm.
You've got to make sure you have like salt and electrolytes in the water so your body can actually do something with all that hydration. So the hydration, the fuel is a like a big factor in like making the day successful. So I'd say like I would maybe invest a little more effort into those elements if I was packing my bag to do it again.
Hmm.
And talking about fuel reminded me of one mistake that I actually did make, which was midway through the day, I had kind of gotten sick of my peanut butter and jellies, my
Hmm.
granola bars,
Hmm.
my goos.
Hmm.
Um, and one of our friends on the trip had packed musubi.
Oh, what?
Musubi, so it's like a ball of rice with spam wrapped in seaweed.
I know exactly what you're talking about,
It's
which you're
so
a
good.
vegetarian.
That's what I was
Let's
gonna
point
say,
that out.
Liz. Okay, but listen. You're 15 miles into a long day, and I've had like three PB&Js. I wanted a piece of musubi so bad. So I
Did you
had,
eat it?
oh yeah, I did. I think my body just really needed salt. And in my mind, I was like, spam and seaweed, like, I need that so bad. And it was a mistake.
Oh,
Yeah, you had to learn. Yeah, I finished the day with the worst acid reflux. But in the moment, eating a piece of musubi by the lake with the mountains in the background, I don't think I would trade it. But
oh,
probably not the right day to have bottom
oh.
tier meat as a vegetarian.
Seriously, I'm just glad you didn't crap your brains out,
I know,
like
I
that your
know.
digestive system wasn't just like,
That's
what is
true. Because
this,
there's also
you know?
you can't just go anywhere. Because you have to wait until the designated pit toilets. So if the urge hits, you gotta hold it.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. You gotta time it right.
okay. So you're telling me that there's like privies or area where you do go to the bathroom?
Yep. Yeah, they've got little signs to kind of lead you off trail, but it's not luxurious. There's no door.
But it's just, I'm guessing, so that the trail just stays clean of some
Totally.
sort?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and with all like the wildlife up there too, it's not something they want on trail just willy-nilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, okay. So you said that you would have definitely packed your headlamp
Yeah.
and
Water
water
filter.
purifier. Yeah,
Totally.
water filter. Anything else you can think off the top of your head that you would like totally recommend for somebody?
Having a beacon is huge. So like one of the leaders of our group had a Garmin InReach, which
Mhm.
is something that's still on my hiking to-do list. So, but
Mhm.
so important. It made me feel a lot safer that she had that. And even if we didn't end up needing to use it for our group, like it's important that someone has it out on trail if you run into somebody else that needs help. Being able to send your coordinates, make an emergency call. Beacon is huge. I wouldn't do this hike without one. I think that's important.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That's on my list, but I haven't priced one out.
Yeah.
Are they pretty pricey?
In my mind they are. Yeah. My boyfriend's a big skier and I know that that's kind of an investment that he had to save up for and make sure that he had before going backcountry skiing. But I mean they last for a long time. It's a worthwhile investment if that's something you plan on doing often. I'd say
Mhm.
for the day hikes I usually do, it's not on the top of my needs list just because
Mhm.
I can be within cell service really easily. But for this hike, it just made me feel a lot safer and more prepared if anything ended up going not to plan. The other big thing I would say on the packing list is
Mhm.
good shoes. Gotta
Mm.
put a little plug in because I'm totally biased, but I had the best shoes. Brooks has like awesome trail runners, and
Ooh, low top.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
which for a long time I had really only hiked in like high top. I was like, "Ew, I wanted to cover my ankles, but the Cascadia shoe was so comfortable.
Oh,
And I was like one of the only people from the group that didn't end up with blisters at the end of the day. Knock on wood.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Shout out.
that
Okay,
made such a big difference.
so the Brooks Cascadias,
Totally.
and you had no problems with your feet. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay,
Paired
good.
with wool socks. So I think that was a lifesaver.
That is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am an advocate of, even though I try to pack light, bring in some extra socks just in case. Don't you think that's a good idea as a
Yes.
runner?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Especially for a little lake dip. We even had like some creek crossings that were a little sketchy. Like your feet are gonna get wet and dry socks is worth the extra weight.
Nice.
Yeah.
So overall, the enchantments. I mean, this is just something that if you're going to be in Washington and have the time and the ability to put in the effort, they should definitely put it on their list, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Plan for it, put it on that bucket list, get an able-bodied group, go train for a summer and get out there and do it in a day or test your luck in the lottery. It's totally worth it. And if someone asked me to do it in the next couple months, I would make time.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Ah! Okay, so as the enchantments are in Washington, I'm sure people heard in the beginning, we also have three national parks that really are day trips for us. They're between 2 and 3 hours. And so there's just so much hiking, like you said earlier. It's just such a phenomenal, beautiful part of this earth. And so I want to know if you had to pick two other hikes to check out besides the Enchantments,
Ooh.
what would it be? What would it be?
Okay. I would say one that has to be on that list is Blanca Lake.
Blanca?
Yep. B
Okay.
L A N C A.
Okay.
It's the bluest lake I've ever seen. It's doable in the snow. I've done it.
Hmm.
I've done it a couple times. Once was really snowy, but still super doable. But
Hmm.
I mean, like again, you're kind of working in that little window of time. It's also off of Highway 2, so kind of like if you're heading from Seattle on your way to Leavenworth, it's a little before then.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest views. It's like it just feels so tucked away. Blanca Lake for sure, top of the list.
Okay. Okay. Blanca Lake.
Um, heading a different direction from Seattle, I would say if you go north towards Bellingham,
Okay.
Oyster Dome is also some of the best views, and that whole area is pretty customizable. Like
Mm.
there's a pretty extensive trail system through there, so you can make it a big long day, or you can drive up a little farther and just do a smaller loop and still get an incredible view.
Ooh, at Oyster Dome.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of that, and it's like on my whatever list that of places that I've heard of and
Hmm.
want to hike, but I didn't know that you could even drive up to close to it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some ridiculous views around here. I mean, I'll go on a little hike that's like an hour from the city, and I'll get out there and I'll be like, is this real? I feel
Right?
like I'm in a Bambi, Alice in Wonderland, Snow White. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, we really do have some magical places out here.
Hmm.
And I know there's a lot more beautiful places as well in the United States and throughout the world, but there is something special about these hikes and lakes and little crevices and hot springs and volcanoes and rainforests that we have here.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
variety, that's what I think Washington is like so far above all the other, I mean, I'm so biased. So far above all the other states, like you think of like the Olympic forests, like Hoh rainforest, like the mossiest trees. And then, I mean, the trail race I did was over in Chelan, so like central Washington. It's like nothing's really pointy out there. It's just rolling hills, a lot of cedars, a lot of yellow. And then all the way out to Spokane, like that looks like Idaho. The range of the nature that Washington has to offer is so vast.
yeah, so we are selling it. If we haven't sold you on Washington, then don't
Come
come here.
visit, come visit.
Seriously, it's such a beautiful spot. I had looked for a quote that I thought could maybe relate to who you are as a person.
Hmm.
And I saw this and it's very simple, but at the same time, I'm very curious to hear your response to it. So the quote is from a German filmmaker, Werner Herzog, Herzog. And he talks about the magic of walking. And he says, the world reveals itself to those who travel on foot.
Hmm.
So, again, very simple statement, but I feel like there's a lot of depth to it whenever you reflect on it. So, do you feel more connected to life when you're hiking, walking, running on trails?
100%. Yeah. That quote makes me think a lot about like slowing down because traveling by foot isn't always or usually the easiest or the fastest or the most convenient. I think there's a lot of value in choosing to do hard stuff and taking time to slow down and be with yourself and be in nature, especially. I think like trail running has been some of the most therapeutic hours on a weekend for me. I'm a big podcast lover. I could listen to music for hours, but if I'm out there, no headphones, for a couple hours with my breath and the trees, like feet in the dirt, I think connected is a great word for it. Connected, grounded. It could just kind of slows you down and makes you feel like you're recentered with yourself again. And being out in the mountains is one of my my happiest places. So I think that's a great quote. I don't think that's simple at all. I think you can easily feel a lot of depth and weight to that kind of approach of going through the world.
Just knowing you, you have such an optimistic outlook and energy about life. And
Mm.
if you're faking it, great job. You've got me fooled. Like I'm I'm sold on your positive energy. Okay. Like my partner Trey is like he 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 really does love a lot of my friends, but you are the one friend that he's always like, "How's Paxton doing? How's
Oh.
how's Paxton's boyfriend Cole doing?" Like he's really interested in, and I think he just feels your energy and like your love for just life, and
Mm.
and I'm saying that to ask you, do you feel like your positive energy, a lot of it does come from just spending a good amount of time outside in nature?
I would say it comes from a good relationship with myself that I've worked really hard on and used solo time in nature as a big tool for that.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
I think there's a lot of value in like having a great group of friends to do this sort of stuff with, but it's also kind of just like a healing medicine to be you, your thoughts, the breeze, the trees. You get it. I can, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm just thinking, I'm just like, I'm on a computer. It's kind of, I'm being a little contradictory, right? I'm like, get outside, get in nature. And I'm over here on a podcast, on a microphone in a dark room.
I mean, I think we all are kind of like that in a way. I mean, I still go and work an office job, but I like that. I mean, we get to live in this area, and even I would say even the city parks really kind of transport you. You don't have
Yes.
to, it doesn't have to be hours in the woods. It can be 15 minutes at Discovery Park, and
Love
Starla, that will
Discovery
turn my whole
Park.
weekend around. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. The Arboretum area, that's a beautiful area as well.
Yeah. Right up along like right up along the water too.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
We're lucky.
Yeah, I really do feel that. I do feel lucky. And I love that I met somebody here that's got such a passion for the outdoors. I love hearing your stories.
Mm.
I love meeting people who just kind of connect with what they're saying through stories. And I'm easily inspired. Okay. My brother and I, we always say that, like, it doesn't take a lot to inspire us.
I think that's a
And I
good
don't,
trait.
yeah, exactly. That's not meant to be an insult to anybody, but I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Ooh, tell me your story on the enchantments," and I'm just like, "Oh, like, it's so inspired." But I to kind of wrap this up, normally at the end of my podcast, I'll ask people, like, goofy questions or random questions, and I'm gonna do that.
I
But
love
I
this part of
want
your podcast. I'm ready. I'm
yeah.
ready.
I've got it. I had to do a little extra digging to figure out some things that you might enjoy answering.
Oh.
But I want to preface by saying that I was reading this blog the other day, and the blog was called, it's a travel blog called Reckless Roaming. So I don't, it was just a new blog, and I was reading about it, and they had a link, and it was called Campfire Conversations.
Oh.
And I thought, what a cute little, that would be a cute name for a segment. I don't think I'm allowed to steal it, but I need to think of something with the same vibe, But I'm like, oh, this is a good, like, these questions are the kind of questions you would ask at like the campfire
Yeah.
conversations where
Yeah.
you're just BSing with each other, and like, they don't even, does the answer even matter? No, but it's just the fact that you're like connecting with people and hearing their version. It just like helps the person,
Mm.
right? So, anyways, here's our campfire conversation that I'm going to have to change the
Unofficially.
name to unofficially. Yeah, because that belongs to reckless roaming. So number uno. Okay, if I'm giving you the space to be judgmental for just a moment, just in this moment, I want to know, what is the most amusing slash funny item that you have seen somebody carry on the trail?
That is such a good question. I don't think it's something that I saw firsthand. Sometimes my mind makes up false memories, but I know for sure I've seen a post again in one of those hiking Facebook groups
Hmm.
of someone hiking up the Mailbox Peak trail, which is a super popular, incredible trail. I'll also plug that one with the new mailbox because every once in a while they need to switch it out. And if I saw that on the trail, I would just have no idea what to think. Like I'm like, how many
Yeah,
mailboxes are up there?
right. So they
Yeah.
were carrying a whole new mailbox to switch out.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so now I'm curious of what it looks like because I haven't been up there in like 2 years. So,
It's a regular size mailbox. It's like it would be
okay.
outside someone's front door, but it's covered in stickers most of the time. Everybody's trying to
Yeah.
leave their mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. If I saw somebody walking with a mailbox on the trail, I think I would be like, I got to ask you
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah. I'm
mail,
like, you
right?
know this isn't a requirement to do Mailbox Peak, right? Who told you that?
Yeah. BYOMB, bring your
Exactly.
own mailbox. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, a mailbox on the trail. Okay, cool. All right, number two. This is so random. If you had to pick one either animated or fictional character to be your hiking sidekick, and it can be from a movie, it can be from a cartoon,
Ooh.
anime. Like, who would you pick to be your hiking sidekick?
I'm gonna go a little logical here and say that I think Samwise Gamgee would be an incredible hiking buddy.
Who?
Samwise Gamgee
I
from
don't
Lord of the
know.
Rings.
Oh my
Starla.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Like
Oh,
you would know, you would know.
oh my gosh. Trey's gonna be so disappointed in me. Oh my god. Yeah, I've seen that movie so many times with him, and I just had a brain fart. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great. Yes, that is great answer. Okay.
Yeah. He would carry the frying pan up the hill with me. I'm sure he would have some great stories, some great songs. Yeah, good
Ah,
hiking company.
that would be okay. Good answer. I
Yeah.
like that. Nice. You thought of that one quicker than I thought. Quicker than I was guessing. Okay, here we go. Number three. If your life was a movie, what would the title be?
Ooh. Okay, something popped in my head and now I can't change it because it's just gonna stick. For some reason I'm okay, and I've never put any thought into this before. I feel like if I were to think I was ever gonna write a memoir or something, maybe I'd have some other ideas, but I think it would be called It's Not That Serious or something like that. Because I think in a lot of ways, okay, like I like to find play in a lot of things. I have a lot of joy in like being silly. But
Hmm.
I also think that like even when it feels like there's a lot of pressure or like big life changes or like big shifts, that's kind of like a nice reminder to myself that like it's not that serious.
Mm,
Like it is what I'm gonna make of it. Or if I'm like, oh, my week is packed, like it's not that serious. Like you can still find moments of play in it, you know?
yes. You know what? I am so curious.
Is that already a movie?
You know what? I
Copyright.
feel okay. So, of what I see of just like a quick Google, the first one that comes up is called "Girl Bye." It's not that serious. I love that. That is so
Is it my
great.
face on the front cover?
No, it should be. It should be. But that's from Antonia Sherman if you're on if you're on Amazon. But no, I was just checking to see if there was a book title already that name because
Yeah.
I really like that. That's really good. It's not that serious.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. I like that. I could actually commit to a tattoo that said that. I'm not gonna
Wow.
lie.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we should
Yeah,
plan.
I felt that one.
Hmm.
Okay, so last thing, I
Okay.
just want to hear if you have one piece of inspiration to tell somebody to like just get out there and do a hike or get out and jog or walk or just get in nature, what would your piece of advice be?
I would say follow inspiration. If you're feeling called to spending more time outdoors, but you are limiting yourself in certain ways, like, oh, but you don't think you can do the biggest hikes, or you don't have time to drive 2 hours away. Follow what feels exciting and inspiring.
Yeah.
If it's a Tuesday evening, you're off work at 6 and you just drive to the city park and you walk around with no headphones for however long you have. Like I feel like your body kind of knows what it is that you're searching for. And sometimes it is a Saturday long hour hike or a long run or a long walk with a friend. I think not forcing those kind of things or setting certain expectations of like, oh, I live in Seattle, I should be doing a hike every weekend because I'm close to it. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm inspired to go hike like 2 or 3 times a week, and sometimes it takes me a little while to want to chase that inspiration again. And the way that I stay active looks a lot different, but when I follow what feels good, it's a lot more rewarding.
Ah, I love it. Love it. And
Mm.
I love your face. I wanted to give a shout out to your sister Becca as well. I
Oh
was just
yeah.
thinking about her, and she is also a person who I find her energy inspiring. You two have that sister thing going on that I
She's got
love.
she's got some good travel stories.
You know what? We're gonna have to get her on here. That's gonna be so fun. And then just a shout out to your boyfriend Cole. Isn't he doing a bike ride to Oregon soon?
This weekend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's doing the STP, Seattle to Portland ride.
Yeah.
So I'm support team this weekend while he does 206 miles in one day on his bicycle.
What? Well, that doesn't shock me. It just doesn't. Like I'm like another day for Cole.
Exactly. Yeah, he's incredible.
Well, thank you for being amazing and beautiful inside and out, and for talking to me. I love, love, love hearing your stories. We are storytelling animals, and I just think it's so fun to get together in this space and just BS back and forth. So thank you so much. You're wonderful.
Thank you. It's an honor to be a part of this franchise.
Woohoo!
Yay.
I'm not your tour guide franchise. Somebody the other day, they were like, why don't you get AI and just start letting them do your outline for you? And I was like, look, I love you. I love your face. But the moment I use AI, again, everybody has their opinions on it. But the moment I use AI is the moment I don't do this anymore because for me, it's very creative. It's just like, I want to have a conversation with a human and like feel the feelings back and forth. So,
Yeah, this is your outlet.
yeah, this is it. This is my
It's
outlet.
real
So
real conversation.
no AI.
Yeah.
Okay, dear. Have a wonderful
Attention
evening,
Thank
and
passengers,
you.
I'll
we've
talk to
now
you
reached our
soon. Yeah,
Bye.
destination.
thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.